Choosing beggar sister-in-law wants baby shower for 5th. I want to begin by saying I have no issues with people who have more than one baby shower, especially if there is a large span of time between kids. With that being said, quick backstory. My parents are not at all rich due to my mum's serious medical bills, so cannot afford extravagant gifts. My mum doesn't travel much because of her health, so myself and the rest of my siblings bring our children to see her rather than the other way around. This makes sense to all of us except my choosing beggar sister-in-law, who expects my mum to always be the one to visit and claims because as a result she sees them less, that my mum doesn't love her children as much as the rest of her grandkids. She also throws tantrums and threatens to withhold grandkids when my mum can't buy super expensive gifts. We're talking gaming consoles and $80 games to go with them. To get back at my mum, she blocked her on Facebook and posts awful things about her for the rest of the family to see. This summer, my choosing beggar sister-in-law was having her 5th child. My mum, knowing they didn't have much and feeling bad because she'd just thrown me a baby shower for my first baby, offered to have a small party for them. She explained her budget was tight, so she planned on hosting it at a local pizza place and put a limit on the number of people that could come. Knowing that choosing beggar sister-in-law's friends are not exactly generous, she offered to give them $300 instead if they would prefer to just buy what they need instead of hoping someone else would. Choosing beggar's sister-in-law's main goal in life, however, is to be the center of attention, so she turned down the money and went with the shower. At first, all was well in the land of just regular beggars. And then choosing beggar's sister-in-law started telling my mum that the food wouldn't be good enough, that the place my shower was at was nicer, and it wasn't fair. Keep in mind, my mother-in-law split the cost with my mum for the shower, that she had more friends she wanted to invite, blah blah and blah. She then tells my mum that everyone else agrees it should be at such and such restaurant. My mum looks it up. The price would end up being around $25 per person, with around 30 people attending. My mum tries to explain why she can't afford this and how it is way outside of her budget. She gets more talk about how nice my shower was without understanding that 4 people helped put everything together and split the cost. My mom was doing this for my choosing beggar sister-in-law out of the kindness of her heart, and with only my sister and I helping with decorations and games. The full cost of food and the venue was on her. That didn't matter to choosing beggar sister-in-law though, and what ensued was weeks of passive aggressiveness, nasty Facebook posts, my mom was still blocked so thankfully she couldn't see them, and people attending the shower talking about my mom while eating the food she paid for and knowing she was in the same room. Choosing beggar sister-in-law took about 2 months after the shower to find an excuse. My mom wanted to put money towards expensive gift for my nephew's birthday instead of outright buying it, and cut off contact, including not letting my mom see her grandkids again. There are lots of stories I could share about my choosing beggar sister-in-law, but this is the one that hurt my mom the most. I've got to agree with this top comment. Their mum should just follow the sister-in-law's lead and block her like completely out of her life. Where are my fries? So I'm a student in my first semester, and I moved from a little village to a big city just a few months ago. Some weeks ago, I went to McDonald's between classes for lunch. As I head up to the ordering screen, a man in his, I believe, 40s approached me and kept saying fries. Just this one word. As I'm a really, really shy, if not anxious person, I did have troubles understanding what exactly he wants because I was just frightened. After repeating fries a few more times, I finally realized that he wants me to buy fries for him. Note, he didn't look like he didn't have enough money to buy fries for himself, but who am I to judge? I didn't feel comfortable with this at all because he didn't even greet me or say please. Call me old-fashioned, but when you beg for something, the least you can do is be polite. I've noticed that his mother tongue isn't German. I live in Austria, but words like hello, bit, please, and danke, thank you, shouldn't be a problem. As he wouldn't go away, I would have ordered him small fries just because I wanted to be left alone. So I said he can have a small fries, and I turned to the screen. He then pushed me away from the screen and ordered big fries with a lot of extras and a big Coke. He added so many extras and sauces that his fries were more expensive than my meal. I instantly deleted his whole order and said to him, either small fries or nothing at all. The man just turned away without saying anything and proceeded to beg the person standing at the screen next to me for fries. I've had enough of this BS, so I just ordered mine, went upstairs and took a seat. It took no longer than 3 minutes that this man stood in front of me and demanded his fries. I answered that I didn't buy them and kept ignoring him. Thank God he left and didn't bother me anymore. I'm glad they said no in the end though. Good for them for sticking up for themselves. I know a lot of people. I used to work for a computer manufacturer in their small business division in 2000, so I guess this was a fledgling influencer. One afternoon, I had a young-sounding guy call me with a great business proposition. Apparently, our millions of dollars in advertising was going to waste because if we gave him a computer, he'd show it to all of his friends, and because of his connections, we'd sell more than enough to make up for the one we gave him. I told him I had an even better idea. I'd get my boss to send him a free one right after he got 99 sales under his name. All he had to do was have his friends call me to let them know he'd influenced the sale, and once we hit 99, he'd get his free one. Obviously, since he had so many friends and associates, this wouldn't be a problem, and according to his estimates, it should be easy and quickly attainable. For some reason, he wasn't very happy with this, and I never heard from him again. That's like the perfect response for these people. They always say, oh, if you give me one for free, I can sell you loads, but then when you say this, they always leave. Choosing beggar is furious when her parents sell their house that she planned to inherit. Well, this fine choosing beggar example has just blown up with our friends over the weekend. My husband's former best friend married several years ago, and it's safe to say their relationship is very toxic. She is very selfish and manipulative, so although we are still friends, he has no close friends anymore and can't go to anywhere or see anyone without her. Anyway, ever since we've known her, she has been telling everyone about her parents' lovely home in a very pricey part of town, overlooking the river. She grew up there with her brother and moved out at 22. She's in her early 30s now, but is always there visiting her parents with her kids. The parents aren't very well. Both have health problems and are in their 60s and 70s. A few months ago, we had dinner at their place, and they showed us some blueprints for a renovation that they were planning on her parents' house. I thought it was odd, but assumed they were helping her parents out, as they wouldn't have a clue how to plan a renovation. Fast forward to this weekend, and our friend turns up to our place, saying they've had a massive fight because her parents had announced to the family that they were selling up and moving to a property in the country to focus on their health. They offered each of their children a $30,000 cash gift from the sale of the house. This was at the family dinner, and instead of being grateful for the gift, it turned into a shouting match with Choosing Beggar storming out. Apparently, Choosing Beggar was absolutely furious because she had spent $35,000 on architect plans for the renovations, which sound fair if the parents had asked for the help. However, it turns out neither her parents or brother had any idea about the renovation plans. This was her own plans based on her assumption that when her parents died, apparently she thought that wasn't far off, she would be the sole heir of their house. She obviously didn't think her brother would be entitled to anything. In addition to this, she had already enrolled their kids into a prestigious school close by the parents' house and paid almost $5,000 in advance fees. They start school in 2 years, which is not refundable. She is now threatening to try and sue her parents to stop the sale of the house, which she claims should be a family decision, not a selfish one. Our friend had no idea about any of this. He was under the impression the parents had asked for her help and has now found out she had used some of their savings to pay the architect. Her argument is she thought they'd get it all back anyway when the house comes to them. She put a massive rant on social media, which was taken down shortly after she realized the comments weren't going her way. Man, I wish I had a screenshot. Here's hoping this is the end of this toxic relationship and we get our friend back. She paid $35,000 just for plans by an architect? What? That seems like a ripoff to me, I don't know. Jobless pregnant cousin wants iPhone, money, and car without doing anything. I had to go live with an older cousin who basically helps all the family. She's on housing and her parents, along with her siblings, live with her. In total, it was 10 of us in one whole apartment. I had to share a bed with my pregnant cousin. One day, pregnant cousin shows up at her doorstep because an abusive boyfriend kicked her out while she was pregnant, and he cut up her clothes. Older cousin tells her you can stay, but you have to get your stuff together because she's almost due. We advised her to leave him because he does not want to support her or her baby. Pregnant cousin enrolls at a for-profit school with astronomical tuition and doesn't even finish. She needed help getting a job, and I offered to take her to her job. She quit the job in a day because she didn't want to clean and was pregnant. Understandable, but she wasn't that close to being due. Pregnant cousin needed a phone to go to job interviews. We went to Boost Mobile, and the first thing she asks the sales rep is for an iPhone. We hooked her up with an Android and Boost Mobile service. Overheard her say, "This slow, stupid thing. I wanted an iPhone. I wish I had an iPhone. I hate Android." She then asks how much I am selling my car for, how and where she is going to get the money for a car with no job, and I need my car. I took her to interviews and she didn't want the jobs, waited to have the baby, and wanted people to cater to her baby shower. Expected people to shower her with gifts and money. Set up an Amazon registry with expensive gifts and got mad when she never got them. Now she can't produce milk. Family offered her a pump, but she wanted to sell the pump instead of use it. Baby had pink eye and got sick. Nobody could take her to the doctor for her baby. Family offered transportation service information for single mothers. She refused and decided to lay in bed with a bonnet on eating hot Cheetos. She did this while she was pregnant. I offered her a job and she didn't want it. Other family offered her single mother services and she didn't want it. She got online asking for a car and money. She said she was going to work at a McDonald's and never went to the interview. Spends all her time on Facebook, posting relationship goals and what women have to go through with a baby. Her boyfriend has kids with 3 other women and is very abusive, and he doesn't give a dang about her baby. Pregnant cousin hits me up for $10 because she is stranded supposedly. I text other cousin letting her know pregnant cousin is asking for money. Cousin tells me that the pregnant cousin hit her up for $10 to get some food and told me that the pregnant cousin was at home alone with the baby. So which is it? Are you stranded or at home? I pretend my Cash App doesn't work and she's not getting a dime. Older cousin we used to stay with in the apartment with 10 people just bought her something to eat. Pregnant cousin hits up the other family to get diapers, but lied to me about why she needed money. She's hitting up people on Facebook asking for money for different reasons and different amounts. I know that she's about to ask for money because she never asks how are you doing, what's going on, she just types WYD. I gotta say, it was a very weirdly formatted story, but I kinda got the gist of it. And she seems like she just doesn't care anymore, and I don't know.